Hey Kaiju fans, so this is another share. This is probably my by far most valuable collectible and the one that I always aspire to find and get, and this has been a long journey in terms of me acquiring this figure. I think if you watch some of the other videos that I posted, there was a particular book that I saw this figure in, and it really inspired me to go out and try to find it. And this particular figure is called the Godzilla Super Final Premium. It's made by Bandai. There were only 4,000 ever made, and if you're lucky enough to have one of these, then you are certainly in a very exclusive club. I was searching for years for this figure. As you can see, it's all orange, and this makes it very unique. And what I really like about this figure is that there's all kinds of different shades of orange and or red. And if you kind of look around the body here, you can see that the paint gradient is nicely sort of faded together in a very cool way. It's a little bit translucent, so if you put a light very close to the skin itself, you can actually kind of see the insides of the figure, and there's a really cool quality about it too, because it's not just a simple plastic or black figure. And I think this one in particular was inspired from the meltdown version in Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. And I think this figure really sort of captures that energy that Godzilla has. Obviously, he's a creature born of the atomic age. So this, to me, was the terrific representation of that scene in the movie. And I will say that this is a very tall figure as well. I mean, I think it's close to 2 feet tall, maybe even more. And yeah, you basically have to partially assemble it. It's mostly intact for the most part. I took the liberty to pull off the tail just because I couldn't fit it into my display case, but just for reference purposes, this is what the tail looks like. And once you do attach this tail, you're looking at a very large figure, and it's certainly bigger than most household pets. So for those who do have pets, you can imagine that maybe a cat or a dog might be intimidated upon just first seeing this thing. But certainly the tail is just like the body, and you simply attach it on this end here. So I'll just kind of put that down in front. Another thing that came with this figure is also a stand, which looks like this. And since the tail is so long, you basically have to kind of put this under the tail so it's able to kind of stand under its own weight, otherwise the tail will start to sag. So this also came with the figure. I'll set that aside here. I think what I'll do is quickly show how the eyes and the toes look, because I think it's really cool to take a look at that. I don't know if it's easy to see here, but there are these irises in the eyes that are really cool, and this was really the only thing you had to kind of put together. There's these little inserts, and basically when you get the figure, there is no insert, but then you have to kind of stick it on yourself. And oftentimes these little glass things get lost, and that's where you end up getting perhaps less value if you were to resell it on the market. A lot of these glass eyes are either old or they've gone missing. So if you do acquire this figure, make sure those eyes are available, because they are nearly impossible to replace unless you maybe fabricate something yourself. Another thing I wanted to highlight too is the toe detail, and I don't know if it's going to be too difficult to see that, but there are ridges on his toes, and the toenails themselves have some very intricate details, which I think is terrific. It's again very kind of lifelike. And in addition to that, there is also a stamp here which shows the actual product number as well as the name. And this is also pretty important too, because you're always trying to make sure you're not getting a knockoff. And to my knowledge, I don't think there are any knockoffs of this figure, but certainly look for this insignia whenever you're searching for this figure to make sure that it is authentic. Okay, so a few other details about this figure now that you've kind of got a sense of what it looks like and some of the intricate details to it. So this figure was very, very hard to find, as I mentioned early on. So I had seen the book with the figure itself, and I had been fixated on it for a number of years. And in 2006, when I was in college, I had the opportunity to travel to Japan for the first time, and I was 20 years old at the time. And I went with two very good friends of mine, and we went all over Tokyo, as whether, and in addition to other cities that we went to, trying to locate these Godzilla collectibles. And I ended up finding this figure brand new in the box at a particular shop. I think it was called Jarinko, Jarinco. It's a very small shop in Japan, in Tokyo in particular. I don't think the shop exists anymore, but this particular figure was sealed in the box, and it was, yeah, I saw it and I immediately wanted it. I had saved my money everywhere I could find to make sure I had enough to purchase this figure. I think it cost about 80,000 yen, which at the time was probably close to 800 bucks, maybe a little bit more so than that. But with, you know, the inflation now and the yen now, I think it'd probably be a lot less. But nevertheless, I bought the figure, and it was just impossible to carry it just as is, because the box was enormous. I mean, you imagine the size of this, but the box might have been as long as this entire figure and as high, with a lot of dead space, and there's just no way we could carry that thing around. So unfortunately, what we had to do is we had to fold the box, not destroy it. It's still, you know, hanging out somewhere in my storage, but we had to fold it, and the owner of the shop carefully wrapped everything up to make sure it would not be damaged in transit, because obviously he knew the value of the figure itself. And I remember going on to a Tokyo subway with my two friends, one of them carrying the box, me carrying the figure, and another one, you know, carrying maybe some of the accessories, whether it be the tail or this little stand over here. And yeah, we jumped on the train. We got a lot of weird looks, but it was one of the happiest days of my life, at least from a collectible standpoint, because I had spent so much time and energy trying to find him. And then, you know, once we got back to the United States, I was so proud to have acquired it. And yeah, it's just every collector's dream is to find that figure that they've always been seeking, and this was one of them for me. And yeah, it's been sitting in my collection for many years now. I love it very much. It's probably my favorite figure ever. Yeah, and it's been just wonderful. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed kind of walking down memory lane with me as we take a look at this figure. I hope that you continue to pursue those Godzilla collectibles, or even Kaiju in general collectibles out there, because with the internet, it's so much easier nowadays than it was for myself almost 20 years ago now. So yeah, happy collecting. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and please head over to Kaiju Kingdom Collectibles, a shop that we recently set up, and we'll be carrying all kinds of cool Kaiju products, and hopefully we can make memories for you like I've had memories with this particular figure. So thanks, and we'll catch you next time.